Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your Premier League predictions. Game week 29, those were my predictions up there from game week 28. So far, not so good because I've got 0 correct scores so far because there is still some games to be played tomorrow night on the Thursday. But as I say, no correct scores. I did get 7 correct outcomes, which isn't too bad, and as always, loads of you guys got involved on the last video down in the comments, so I'll put a load of them on screen now. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments for game week 29, but as always, we'll go through them together now. So as I say, the football is a little bit all over the place at the moment with so many games being rescheduled for midweek, so technically while I record this now, game week 28 still hasn't ended. But to get ahead of the curve, we are getting started on the game week 29, which starts off this Saturday, 12:30 on BT Sport when Brighton take on Liverpool. So I keep saying this every week. Brighton are having a decent season, sitting very mid-table. However, their recent form has not been good. They've actually lost the last 4 Premier League games in a row now, losing most recently to Newcastle at the weekend. But by all means, played a pretty good game, and I think they'll probably be quite hard done to, or will feel quite hard done to, with the result in the end, having had, I think, 70% of the possession in that match, and generally had much better spells of football than Newcastle did, but Newcastle are on a bit of a roll at the moment, and Brighton couldn't pick up the points. And it's not going to get any easier, because they're now taking on Liverpool, who have actually won their last 7 Premier League games in a row, including a win against West Ham at the weekend. I was actually reading on the fact that Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have already surpassed their 16 assists they got last season. Already at this point in March, have got 17. So they are having a cracking time of it at the moment. And despite Liverpool actually losing in the Champions League against Inter Milan this week, I do predict them to win this one. So I've gone 3-1 Liverpool. Moving on to the Saturday at 3 o'clock, and this is the only game on Saturday at 3 o'clock, because there's so many games being played on Thursday, they've had to put a load of the games on Sunday to give all the players a rest. So we have one 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff, which is just rubbish, to be honest, and it is Brentford taking on Burnley. Brentford finally got their first win in a long time. Was it start of January? When they last won, so they beat Norwich at the weekend, which is a massive game, beating what is a relegation rival, a huge 3 points. Ivan Toney getting himself a hat-trick, 2 penalties and a goal, sealed the 3-1 win for them. Taking on Burnley, who, in fairness to them, have also had a couple of good wins and a draw not too long ago, but have lost the last 2 games, including the 4-0 loss against Chelsea at the weekend. Again, this is a massive game for both teams. I think a win for Brentford takes them right back out of it in the right direction. Burnley themselves are really just still trying to push their way out of that bottom 3. And I've gone a little bit boring. I've gone 1-1. I mean, if Brentford can score, I mean, there was 2 pens. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. And then moving on to the 5:30 on Saturday, we have got Manchester United taking on Spurs. So Man United losing 4-1 against Manchester City at the weekend. Roy Keane was not a happy chappy, was he, with that performance? Obviously a lot of questions being asked of the players, and all of a sudden Rashford is in the headlines at the moment as to whether he sees his future at Manchester United, having not been getting the game time that he would have wanted. And again, that basically becoming the question of if that was where the players that were selected are going to play, maybe Rashford should be getting more game time. He's been linked with PSG amongst other teams, so will he? I don't know about that one. You can let me know about that as well down below if you think he would actually leave Manchester United. Taking on a Spurs side who won 5-0 at the weekend. It was against Everton, who are having a tough time at the moment, but 5 goals is something. Harry Kane scoring 2, and that's another rumour I've been hearing, is that he is potentially being offered a new contract at Spurs. And after everything that went on in the summer, that he clearly wanted to go, to Man City. First of all, does Daniel Levy still want 150 million, and is he going to get it? And is Harry Kane going to wait out that contract when he could be offered more money? Who knows? And then in terms of a prediction for this one, I think in terms of the fact that Spurs just won 5-0, I am going to back them. I'm going to go 2-1. The only thing I'll say about Manchester United is that yes, they did not play well, and that's why I've said they're going to lose. But quite often when a team gets a thump and they come back stronger because they need to bounce back and they need to show that was a one-off. And I can see them doing that. But that's what I've gone for. Let me know your thoughts down below. Moving on to the Sunday at 2 o'clock. I mean, there's millions of games at 2 o'clock on Sunday, but just one of them is on TV, on Sky, and it is Chelsea taking on Newcastle. So both of these teams actually play Thursday night as well, before taking on each other this weekend. Chelsea have won the last 3 games in a row now, beating Burnley 4-0, and it's a lot of off-the-field chat as well, obviously, to the ownership and what's going to happen with that one, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that. Taking on a Newcastle side who, as I mentioned, beat Burnley at the weekend. 8 games unbeaten now, 5 wins in 6. Hoping to have Saint Maximin back in time for the Chelsea game as well. And in terms of a prediction, I am a Newcastle fan, and this is biased. I'm going 1-0 Newcastle. I have said that every time for the last 8 games. And although Newcastle have not won 1-0 every time, they are still yet to lose a game since I've started giving that prediction. So I'm going to keep saying it. I did it for the Southampton game on Thursday as well. So hopefully we'll see some good results in both of them. But honestly, Chelsea, I think I would take a draw now. Let's be honest. Chelsea are a fantastic side, and to keep that unbeaten run going through this game on Sunday would be a real achievement. Again, still on Sunday at 2 o'clock, but none of these games are on TV. We've got Everton taking on Wolves, so the Frank Lampard nightmare continues with his 5-0 loss against Spurs at the weekend, which isn't great, let's be honest. Just 1 point ahead of relegation now. Obviously, he came out in his interview and said that he can't walk in and shake a magic wand and go undefeated. Which Eddie Howe has, but it's going to be tough, and I do think Everton have got some good players in there, and I do think they will come out of it, but right now it isn't looking good. Taking on a Wolves side who were and are still sitting in a pretty good spot for that push on Europa League, but having lost the last 3 games in a row, including a loss against Crystal Palace at the weekend, has really dampened that a bit. As I say, they were potentially in a shout of Champions League. Now I think it's Europe, but there's still a lot of time to go. And I have backed them to win this one. I've gone 1-0. Again, who knows when Everton will turn things around, because I think they will. But possibly not in time for this game. Still at 2 o'clock on Sunday, we've got Leeds taking on Norwich, which again is another big game, relegation game. Leeds have been on poor form, but let's be honest, they've had some really tough games. They've lost against Manchester United, Liverpool, Spurs, and then Leicester 1-0 at the weekend. So those were some pretty tough games, let's be honest. But they are just 2 points ahead of the relegation zone, so it has been tough, but they need to pick up some points and quick. And they'll want to do that against bottom place Norwich, who, again, have not been on good form. Lost against Brentford, which was a massive game. They're now playing Leeds, which again is a massive game, and they are 5 points away from safety. So with all of that said, I've gone 1-1. Still 2 o'clock on Sunday, we have got Southampton taking on Watford. So Southampton again had been in great form, great second half of the season form, and then what was for me a complete out of the blue result, losing 4-0 against Aston Villa. I did not see that one coming. They're going to want to turn that around against Newcastle on Thursday night, and then again against Watford, who are a team trying to keep their safety in the Premier League. 3 points away from safety. Lost 3-2 against Arsenal at the weekend. I've got to say, I don't think any of those 5 goals in that 3-2 loss were absolute bangers. It was a fantastic highlight reel of that game, but obviously it meant that Watford took nothing home from it. And I've predicted they won't in this game either. I have gone 1-0 to Southampton there. And to finish off the 2 o'clock games on Sunday, we have got West Ham taking on Aston Villa. So in West Ham's last 5 games, they've won 2, drawn 2, and then they lost their game against Liverpool at the weekend. Currently, 3 points off 4th, which is a good spot to be in. It's still a good spot to be in. The problem is the team in fourth, which is Arsenal, and we'll talk about them in a moment. They've got 3 games in hand on most teams, so West Ham cannot afford to really be losing any games if they want that 4th place spot, and it won't be easy taking on an Aston Villa side who really had kind of dipped in form. You know, Gerrard came in, had that instant impact. Obviously, it's been in the news at the moment that they want to keep Coutinho. It's expected that Barcelona would be happy to let him go as well. It's just up to Aston Villa at the end of the season whether they want to put that bid in, which is rumoured to be around 40 million. But Gerrard had that instant impact. It kind of dipped a little bit, and then really bounced back at the weekend with a 4-0 smash against Southampton. I have and did take a long time to put a prediction on this, and I've had a few draws this weekend, so I really wanted to pick a winner, and I did in the end, and I went West Ham 1-0. Again, you know, if Aston Villa come out and play that way again, scoring 4 goals, you know, it could probably be anyone, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's going to be tight, and I've gone West Ham 1-0. And then on the Sunday at 4:30, I've just mentioned them, it is Arsenal taking on Leicester. Arsenal have won 4 games in a row now. Again, they beat Watford 3-2 with some fantastic goals, and are 3 games in hand on quite a lot of the teams around them, currently sat in 4th place. So they are sat in the prime position, basically. Having that many games in hand, you know, they can... It's really down to them whether they win it or lose it in terms of a Champions League spot this season. Taking on a Leicester side starting to find some form again. It's been one of those this season, and I've spoken about them quite a lot as not being quite where they want to be, but they have won the last 2 games in a row. They did beat Leeds 1-0 at the weekend, and they do play in Europa League this week as well, so that could potentially impact whether they continue the run going into Arsenal or whether they've slipped out of it again. In terms of a prediction, I have gone Arsenal 2-1. As I say, they scored some great goals. Saka looking incredible in that game as well, and I predict them to continue it this weekend. And then on the Monday night at 8 o'clock, we have got Crystal Palace taking on Manchester City. So Crystal Palace, again, sitting mid-table. Vieira, to be fair, has been doing a great job for his first season in charge. He's actually come out and praised Zaha this week. He did score one of the goals. He scored a penalty in their 2-0 win against Wolves at the weekend, but he's been praising his work ethic on and off the ball. And I think he's a great part of that Crystal Palace side, who, as I say, are having a very decent season. However, they are taking on Manchester City, who are still top. They beat Manchester United 4-1 at the weekend, and it's tough to not back them playing anyone, to be honest. They actually play in the Champions League against Sporting tonight, as it happens. And I actually haven't wrote a prediction down for this one, I must have forgotten. So I'm just going to go 3-0 Man City. They're scoring goals, you know, and maybe Crystal Palace can prove us wrong, but that's the way I've got to go. And then to quickly finish off, we've got a bunch of rearranged games, which I think I've already predicted at some point or another. Not that I can remember what those predictions were, but I will throw them out there now. Brighton take on Spurs on Wednesday next week, so we'll go 1-0 Spurs. Arsenal versus Liverpool as well. That one's on Sky, and that one could be a good one. I mean, Liverpool absolutely need to win it if they want the chance of winning the title. Arsenal are sat in a pretty good space, even if they don't quite pull off the win for a Champions League spot. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, but that could be a good one. And then to finish off on the Thursday next week, and it's on Amazon Prime, because this was one of the games that should have been on Prime closer to the Christmas period, and it is Everton taking on Newcastle. And sticking with form, I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle in that one. And that is it, guys. So those are all of my predictions up there for Game Week 29. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below for all of those games. As always, I go through all of the comments, so please do get involved. Be sure to drop a like if you have enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up to date on the series. I'm doing this every week of the Premier League all the way through till the end of the season. And once again, if you're still watching this video 10 plus minutes later and you haven't subscribed, then hit that button and turn the notifications on. I always try and post this on a Wednesday, ready for what normally is the games on a weekend, but the games are just everywhere at the minute, so we're trying to keep on top of it, but it's all in good fun. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe your predictions in the comments. Thank you for watching, enjoy the weekend, and I'll catch you later.